Shan, firstly, I'd like to welcome you to Derbyshire. It was met really positively in the news. What's your reaction to joining the club?
Thank you so much for that. I mean, playing county cricket has been a very well-known wish of mine, whether it's in the cricketing fraternity, whether it's talking to family or friends, and just the when I met Mickey, I actually bumped into him at the Dubai airport, and he was going to call me a couple of days later. So it's very fascinating how he sort of discussed the proposition of him joining Derbyshire, and then if he joined Derbyshire, he said he would want me to be his overseas player for all formats. So I mean, I didn't believe it till it actually happened, and then just the next few days they went by so quickly. I mean, in discussions with Ryan, the CEO at Derby, putting my representatives through, and just finalizing it. It still seems unreal. We're still a few months away off from the season, but I'm very excited. At a place that I've been before, whether I played an under-19s test match over here. I was here with the Pakistan team for 3 weeks in 2020 before it was the build up to the test series. So and then obviously having played for Multan Sultans with Wayne Matson, who's an integral part of the Derbyshire setup. So yeah, I mean, very excited. Quite familiar with a few things of the county, and just can't wait to get started.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Of course, in moving to Derbyshire, you've already mentioned you'll be reuniting with Mickey. In the press release, you mentioned that he was probably the biggest influence on your career. So what is it about his leadership and his coaching that's kind of affected you so much?
I think firstly, just following Mickey Arthur as a cricket fan, putting South Africa to that #1 spot, and then a few years later when he joined the Pakistan setup, I mean, I was excited that a coach of Mickey's pedigree was going to be a part of Pakistan's coaching setup. We didn't start off on the best of terms. I had a few sort of bad innings in England in 2016, and that led me to sort of being dropped from the side. But the best thing about Mickey is he always talks to the player. He knows the psychology of the player, and you can always have that conversation with Mickey, and it's going to be brutally honest, but you know that it's going to be between the two people, and it's always going to be sort of working towards something constructive. So the first conversation didn't go down too well. It was a bit heated, and then we shared a few emails of what Mickey wanted me to do as a player, and I think that set me off. I mean, back then, in the heat of the moment, it probably looked like I was getting the axe, and I wasn't in favor. I wasn't in sort of Mickey's plans, but it was actually Mickey setting me back free into the system and trying to sort of grow into the player that he believed that I could be. And then from then on, I think 2017, 2018 were the years where I was not part of the international setup, and I really worked hard on the things that he had sort of highlighted on or touched upon. And I think after that, I sort of broke my way back into the test team, back in sort of into the one-day team as well. And I had a really productive sort of test matches till Mickey was there. So yeah, I mean, it's just great to have somebody like him, who's been there, who's been there in the defining years of your career, like sort of where you think that in terms of your developmental state. So yeah, I'm really happy that I'm going to be working with Mickey again.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned all the positives there of working under him, how he will be honest, but he will always help players improve their games. I've seen a few interviews that he's done where he's praised your work rate when you got back into the Pakistan setup. So for you coming over here now, you know what he expects. I suppose that almost gives you the opportunity to lead the squad from the front, doesn't it? And almost help the transition to his leadership.
Yeah, I think Mickey's always been culture driven, and that's the best part about him. When he came to Pakistan, he set high standards, whether it was fitness, whether it was performances. And as a player, you knew that you had to meet such standards. And the best thing was, if you did, Mickey had your back. He took the press head on. He took selection matters head on. He took your failures head on. And Mickey was sort of Pakistan cricket has a lot to sort of has a lot of credit or has a lot of thanks to give to Mickey Arthur with the kind of players that he's found for Pakistan. And that's the kind of thing that you'd expect him when he comes to Derby. He's done that with Sri Lanka as well. I think Sri Lanka had a lot of good bunch of players in this T20 World Cup, which was probably a tournament too early for them, but Mickey's also put them in good stead. And again, Derbyshire should be excited that they're getting a guy like that who knows how to identify players, who knows how to deal with players, and who demands the highest standards. And I think when it comes to my work ethic, when it comes to what I want to do to sort of raise my game and go on to the next level, I think he's played an important part in it by sort of giving me sort of the encouragement to follow those work ethics, to follow that thought process, and really turn into a good player. So yeah, I'm all for it, and I'm as excited. I mean, yeah, I would like to lead a culture. I would like to lead the system that Mickey Arthur is running, and I'd also like to learn a lot from him, which I've done over the past 3-4 years.
You've mentioned a couple of times being based here at the Ancora County ground last year.
Yeah.
It wasn't the easiest time, of course. The world was very much changing at that point, and it still really is. But what are your memories of that time, and how much are you looking forward to coming back here and experiencing it again?
I mean, the food was great. It's the highlight of the bubble life. I think bubble life's very difficult. We've already highlighted that. When your life gets sort of limited to the ground and the hotel ground, just those two, life becomes harder. But I think now, like hopefully when I'll be coming to Derbyshire, we'll have the relaxation of rules. They won't be like international cricket standards. And I can live in the town, and I can sort of see what life is like, and just adjust to whatever Derby has to offer. Again, the ground was really good. It had really good facilities, especially if you're an international team staying there for 3 weeks. You demand the highest facilities, and we got them all, whether it was the center wickets, whether it was a gym, whether it was the side nets. Again, the food was brilliant, and then it felt really good, and it set us in sort of good stead for the test match at Old Trafford that was held in 2020. So again, a lot of memories. We were about a contingent of about 40-45 people. We had a really good time there, and I'm just looking forward to coming back and sort of having an even better time than last time.
Yeah. When I spoke to Mickey when he joined, one of the questions I asked him was about the members and the supporters here, and we have a really strong relationship between the players, the coaching staff, and the supporters. How important is it for you to kind of become a part of that and get to know the members?
Look, I think that's I always consider that a strength of mine. I think the game needs more and more followers, more and more members, and they're an integral part of the game. They're an integral part to sort of take the game forward as well. And I've always considered myself very adaptable. I like going to new places. I like adjusting to the ways that are norms in those particular places. So I'm very excited to be sort of coming to Derbyshire, very excited to sort of link up with the members, with the fans, and sort of really being sort of really engaging with them. I think that's very important. I mean, people spend their money, spend their days just to watch you play, and they get excited when you do well. So I mean, just to be as engaged as possible with the members, with the fans, that's something I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure that the club will make a lot of sort of arrangements for that to happen, and I'm really excited for that.
And finally, you're here for all formats next year. What can we expect to see from Shan Masood in a Derbyshire shirt?
I think that's the most exciting prospect. When I was offered the deal and being told that it's going to be all format, that's something I want to pride myself on. I want to pride myself on as a player that can play equally well in all formats. And in the last 3-4 years, that's something that I've done, and hopefully doing it in England, in the county setup for Derbyshire, producing sort of high quality match winning performances is something that I'm looking forward to, and doing that consistently. And my thing is, whenever I step onto the field, I try and leave 100% out there, and that's going to be my guarantee to the club and to the fans, and hopefully we'll see a lot of consistent performances from